Stop right there. Before you even think about scrolling past this video, I need you to understand something that nobody, and I mean nobody, is going to tell you about why you're still broke, still stuck in toxic relationships, and still feeling like you don't deserve the life you actually want. And trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to realize that everything you thought you knew about worthiness was a complete lie. But first, do me a massive favor. Smash that subscribe button right now and hit the like button, because the algorithm needs to push this message to more people who desperately need to hear what I'm about to reveal. Seriously, if this video doesn't blow up, thousands of people will continue living in this trap that I'm about to expose, and I refuse to let that happen. So subscribe, like, and let's get into this. You know what's absolutely insane? The fact that we live in a world where the most dedicated, hardworking, and genuinely good people are the ones suffering from not feeling worthy, while complete narcissists, scammers, and toxic individuals are out there living their best lives without a single ounce of guilt. Think about that for a second. If unworthiness was real, if it was actually based on truth, then wouldn't it affect the right people? Wouldn't those people who lie, cheat, manipulate, and hurt others be the ones feeling unworthy? But no, instead, it's you. The person watching this video right now, the one who works hard, who tries to be good, who genuinely wants to evolve and become better. You're the one sitting there feeling like you don't deserve success, don't deserve love, don't deserve peace. That alone should tell you that this whole unworthiness thing is the biggest scam ever created. It's a poisonous lie that's been fed to you, and it's been eating away at your prosperity, your relationships, and your entire life structure. And today, we're going to dismantle this lie piece by piece using 3 revolutionary points that nobody else is teaching. I'm Rose, and I've spent years figuring this out the hard way, and I'm about to hand you the keys. Now listen closely, because I'm going to separate this into 3 parts based on personality types. And I guarantee you're going to see yourself in at least one of these. The first group of people, and maybe this is you, are the risk takers, the creators, the ones with that restless energy that needs constant stimulation. You know who you are. You're the person who can't stand boredom, who thrives on challenges, who has that fire inside that needs to keep moving, creating, achieving. You're probably super confident, maybe even a bit impulsive, and people look at you and think you've got it all together. But here's what nobody sees. Here's the dark secret. You're actually disrespecting yourself in the worst possible way, and it's destroying your worthiness from the inside out. Let me explain. People with this personality type, and I'm including myself here because I am absolutely this person, have this terrible habit of only functioning when there's a crisis. You heard that right. You've literally trained yourself to only take action when your back is against the wall, when there's a problem, when everything is falling apart. Why? Because you've confused peace with boredom. You've told yourself that if life is calm, if money is in the bank, if your relationship is stable, then something must be wrong because you're not being challenged. So what do? You sabotage yourself. You spend all the money you just made because having savings feels too easy. You create drama in your relationship because stability feels too boring. You procrastinate on everything until the absolute last minute because you've convinced yourself that you work better under pressure. And you call this being creative, being spontaneous, being a go-getter. But let me tell you what it really is. It's self-disrespect. You're literally telling the universe that you don't deserve peace. You're saying that you only deserve to function in chaos. You're addicted to problems because solving problems gives you that dopamine hit, that rush of adrenaline that makes you feel alive. And here's where it gets even worse. Because you're so good at handling crisis, because you're so talented at figuring things out last minute, you keep putting yourself in situations that require you to do exactly that. It's like you're a firefighter who keeps setting fires just so you have something to put out. Think about it. Every time you drain your bank account, you create financial stress. Every time you wait until the last second, you create time pressure. Every time you engage with people who aren't good for you, you create emotional chaos. And then you wonder why you can't get ahead, why success feels so exhausting, why you never feel like you truly deserve the good things when they come. It's because somewhere deep down, you've decided that you don't deserve tranquility. You've decided that calm equals boring, and boring equals death. So you keep yourself in this constant state of emergency. And let me be brutally honest with you. My therapist once told me something that completely changed my life. He said, "Rose, you suffer from boredom. You cannot handle being bored. You have to always be inventing something new, always be creating some new challenge, always be stirring something up." And when he said that, it hit me like a truck, because I realized that's exactly what I was doing. I was taking all of my amazing qualities, my creativity, my drive, my confidence, and I was using them as a curse instead of a blessing. I was creating problems just so I could feel stimulated. I was spending money I didn't need to spend just so I could feel the pressure of having to make more. I was picking fights just so I could feel the intensity of conflict and resolution. I was being reckless with my energy, my time, my resources, all because I couldn't sit still in peace. And that's not confidence. That's not being a go-getter. That's being disrespectful to yourself. That's unworthiness in action. So here's what you need to understand. If you're this personality type, your path to worthiness doesn't come from affirmations. It doesn't come from standing in front of a mirror saying, "I deserve this," over and over again. That's not going to work, because the moment you have money in the bank, you're going to spend it. The moment your life is calm, you're going to create chaos. The moment things are going well, you're going to sabotage it. Your path to worthiness comes from learning to respect yourself enough to embrace peace. You need to redefine what boredom actually is. It's not boredom, it's peace, it's security. It's the foundation that will allow you to create even bigger things without destroying yourself in the process. You need to start creating healthy challenges instead of toxic ones. Instead of draining your bank account and then stressing about how to pay bills, keep your money saved and challenge yourself to create a new income stream. Instead of creating relationship drama, channel that energy into creating something meaningful in your work. Instead of procrastinating and then rushing, prepare in advance and challenge yourself to execute with excellence. Do you see the difference? You're still getting the challenge you crave. You're still getting the stimulation you need, but you're doing it in a way that respects yourself. And when you respect yourself, worthiness isn't even a question anymore. It's automatic. Now let's talk about the second group of people, and this might be you. These are the ones who play it safe, the ones who overthink everything, the ones who are paralyzed by fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of what other people will think. You probably have incredible knowledge, maybe even a degree or specialized training. You're talented, you're capable, you're smart. But you're not moving, you're stuck. And the reason you're stuck isn't because you lack confidence, even though that's what you tell yourself. The real reason, and this is going to sting, is vanity. Yeah, you heard me. Vanity. And I know that sounds harsh, but stay with me because this is the breakthrough you need. When I say vanity, I'm not talking about caring about your appearance. I'm talking about caring way too much about how others perceive you. You're so terrified of being judged, so afraid of looking stupid, so worried about what people will think, that you'd rather do nothing than risk being seen as imperfect. And that, my friend, is vanity. It's ego disguised as humility. You tell yourself, "I'm just being careful. I'm just not ready yet. I just need to learn a little bit more." But what you're really saying is, "I care more about protecting my image than about actually living my life." Let me give you an example. You have a product or a service that you know is valuable. You've put in the work, you've done the research, you know what it's worth. But when it comes time to actually charge what you deserve, you freeze. Why? Because you're afraid people will think you're greedy. You're afraid they'll judge you. You're afraid of being seen as someone who only cares about money. So instead, you undercharge, or worse, you don't put yourself out there at all. And you convince yourself that this is because you're humble, because you're being reasonable. But that's not what's happening. What's actually happening is that you're being dishonest with yourself. You're not lacking courage, you're lacking honesty. Think about it this way. If you genuinely believe your product or service is worth a certain amount, and you've done the market research to back that up, and you know in your heart that it provides value, then charging that price isn't about courage, it's about integrity. It's about being honest with yourself and with others about what you're offering. But when you don't charge what you're worth, when you hide, when you stay small, you're lying. You're lying to yourself about your value. And you're lying to your potential clients about what you're actually capable of. And every time you do that, every time you shrink yourself to avoid judgment, You're reinforcing the belief that you don't deserve to be seen, don't deserve to be valued, don't deserve to succeed. That's unworthiness. And it's not coming from some childhood trauma that needs years of therapy to fix. It's coming from vanity, from caring too much about the opinions of people who, frankly, don't matter. Here's what you need to hear. The most vain people are often the ones who seem the most humble. They're the ones who are constantly worried about what others think, constantly trying to please everyone, constantly afraid of being disliked. And that level of self-consciousness, that obsession with external validation, is what's keeping you trapped. Because as long as you're more concerned with protecting your image than with living authentically, you'll never feel worthy. You'll always be waiting for permission from others to be yourself, to charge what you're worth, to take up space. And that permission is never going to come. You have to give it to yourself. And giving it to yourself doesn't require courage. It requires honesty. It requires you to stop lying about who you are and what you're worth. It requires you to look in the mirror and admit that you've been hiding, not because you're not ready, but because you're vain. And once you admit that, once you own it, everything changes. So here's your assignment if you're in this second group. Stop waiting to feel courageous. Start being honest. If you know your product is worth $100, charge $100. If you know you have something valuable to say it. If you know you're capable of more, go do more. And when that voice in your head starts whispering, "But what will they think?" recognize it for what it is. Vanity, ego, fear of judgment. And then do it anyway. Not because you're suddenly brave, but because you're finally being honest. And honesty, real honesty with yourself and others, is the foundation of worthiness. You don't need to convince yourself that you deserve it. You just need to stop lying about what you already know is true. All right, now we're getting to the third point, and this one applies to everyone, whether you're the chaotic risk-taker from Group 1 or the overthinking perfectionist from Group 2. This is the universal truth that ties everything together. And if you take nothing else from this video, take this. There is no worthiness without self-respect. I'm going to say it again because I need you to write this down in your mind, in your journal, on your wall, wherever you need to see it every single day. There is no worthiness without self-respect. All of the affirmations, all of the manifestation techniques, all of the vision boards and therapy sessions and self-help books in the world will not make you feel worthy if you are actively disrespecting yourself through your daily actions. Let's break this down because this is where most people get it completely wrong. They think worthiness is a feeling that you have to cultivate, a belief you have to install, a mindset you have to adopt. And sure, mindset matters, but mindset without aligned action is just fantasy. You can stand in front of a mirror and say, "I am worthy," 1,000 times a day, but if you're spending money you don't have, if you're staying in relationships that drain you, if you're saying yes when you mean no, if you're shrinking yourself to make others comfortable, then you're not acting like someone who's worthy. And your subconscious mind isn't stupid. It sees what you're doing. It knows the truth. And no amount of positive affirmations is going to override the evidence of your actions. So let me ask you some hard questions, and I want you to really think about your answers. Do you let people disrespect you and then convince yourself it's because you're being understanding or patient? That's not patience. That's self-disrespect. Do you overwork yourself to the point of exhaustion and then wonder why you feel burned out? That's not dedication. That's self-disrespect. Do you agree to things you don't want to do because you're afraid of disappointing people? That's not kindness. That's self-disrespect. Do you settle for less in your career, your relationships, your life because you don't want to seem demanding or difficult? That's not humility. That's self-disrespect. Every single time you betray yourself, every time you ignore your own needs, every time you compromise your values to keep the peace or avoid confrontation, you are sending yourself a message. And that message is, I am not worth protecting. I am not worth prioritizing. I am not worth fighting for. And then you wonder why you don't feel worthy. You wonder why success feels foreign, why love feels uncomfortable, why peace feels impossible. It's because you've trained yourself to accept disrespect, and it started with you disrespecting yourself. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Most people think self-respect means being selfish, being rigid, being difficult. They think it means you have to be confrontational, aggressive, demanding. But that's not what self-respect is. Self-respect is simply honoring yourself the same way you would honor someone you deeply love and admire. It's treating yourself with the same care, consideration, and protection that you would offer to your best friend, your child, your partner. It's setting boundaries, not because you're trying to control others, but because you're trying to protect your own energy, your own peace, your own well-being. It's saying no to things that don't align with you, not because you're being difficult, but because you're being honest. It's charging what you're worth, not because you're greedy, but because you respect the value you provide. It's walking away from people and situations that harm you, not because you're giving up, but because you're choosing yourself. And that is worthiness in action. So let me tell you what this looks like in real life, because I think a lot of people hear this advice and they still don't know how to actually apply it. If you're the first personality type, the risk taker, the chaos creator, self-respect means you stop glorifying struggle. It means you stop wearing exhaustion like a badge of honor. It means you allow yourself to have money in the bank without immediately finding a way to spend it. It means you create space for peace in your life, even when it feels boring. It means you prepare in advance instead of constantly putting out fires. It means you build sustainable systems instead of relying on last-minute heroics. And every time you do that, every time you choose peace over chaos, preparation over panic, sustainability over crisis, you're telling yourself, I deserve stability. I deserve ease. I deserve to build something that lasts. That's self-respect. That's worthiness. If you're the second personality type, the overthinker, the people pleaser, self-respect means you stop waiting for external validation to take action. It means you stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. It means you charge what you're worth, even if it makes some people uncomfortable. It means you show up fully, even if you risk being judged. It means you speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. It means you take up space, even if it feels selfish. It means you prioritize your own needs, even if it disappoints someone else. And every time you do that, every time you choose honesty over approval, action over perfection, visibility over safety, you're telling yourself, I am valuable, I am capable, I deserve to be seen. That's self-respect. That's worthiness. And here's the beautiful thing that happens when you start living this way. When you start acting like someone who's worthy, when you start making decisions from a place of self-respect, you don't have to convince yourself that you deserve good things anymore. It becomes obvious. It becomes undeniable. Because worthiness isn't something you feel and then act on. It's something you build through your actions, and then the feeling follows. Every boundary you set, every time you honor your own needs, every moment you choose yourself, you're stacking evidence. You're proving to yourself that you matter. And when you have enough evidence, when you've built enough proof through your daily choices, worthiness isn't a question anymore. It's just who you are. So let's bring this all together, because I want you to leave this video with absolute clarity on what you need to do next. First, identify which personality type resonates with you most. Are you the person who creates chaos because you're addicted to crisis? Or are you the person who stays stuck because you're terrified of judgment? Be honest. Don't sugarcoat it. Own it. Second, recognize that your unworthiness isn't coming from your past, from your parents, from society, or from some cosmic injustice. It's coming from the way you're treating yourself right now, today, in your current actions and choices. Third, commit to one specific change that demonstrates self-respect. If you're Group 1, commit to keeping money in the bank for 30 days without spending it impulsively. If you're Group 2, commit to charging full price for your service or putting yourself out there in one way you've been avoiding. Just one thing, one act of self-respect, and then watch what happens. Watch how that one choice creates a ripple effect. Watch how it changes the way you see yourself. Watch how it shifts your entire relationship with worthiness. Because here's the truth that nobody wants to tell you. You are not going to wake up one day and suddenly feel worthy. You are not going to have some magical breakthrough where everything clicks into place and you're healed. Worthiness isn't something that happens to you. It's something you build. Brick by brick, choice by choice, boundary by boundary. Act of self-respect by act of self-respect. And the reason most people never feel worthy isn't because they're broken or damaged or not enough. It's because they're still waiting for the feeling to come first. They're still waiting for permission. They're still waiting to be rescued. And that rescue is never coming. You have to rescue yourself. You have to choose yourself. You have to respect yourself. And when you do, when you really commit to that, everything changes. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought, and then I want you to take action immediately. Your life right now is a direct reflection of how much you respect yourself. Your bank account, your relationships, your career, your health, your peace of mind, all of it is showing you exactly how much self-respect you have. And if you don't like what you see, if you're frustrated, stuck, struggling, feeling unworthy, then stop looking for external solutions. Stop blaming your circumstances. Stop waiting for someone to validate you. Start respecting yourself. Start making choices that honor who you are and what you truly want. Start acting like someone who deserves the life they're trying to create. Because you do deserve it. But not because you're special, not because you're perfect, not because you've earned it through suffering. You deserve it because you're a human being who has decided to stop betraying yourself. And that decision, that commitment to self-respect, is what creates worthiness. Not affirmations, not therapy, not manifestation. Action. Consistent, respectful, honest action. That's the secret. That's the truth. That's what nobody's teaching you. And now you know. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to keep living the same way, making the same excuses, perpetuating the same patterns? Or are you going to choose differently? The power has always been yours. It's time to use it. Now go subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment telling me which personality type you identified with. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And let's create a movement of people who refuse to disrespect themselves anymore. Let's change the conversation around worthiness. Let's stop treating it like some mystical feeling we have to chase and start treating it like the daily practice of self-respect that it actually is. I'm Rose, and I'll see you in the next one. Now, go take action.